afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen, our dear opponents and timekeeper. I am the first speaker of proposition team. My teammates are Oleg, the second speaker, and the third speaker. Victorious is going to make the reply speech. The motion of our today's game is Wikipedia is better resource than many libraries. We are going to prove during our game that it is really so. This motion is really important nowadays because we need to find information almost every day. And if we want to find it, we can use different resources such as Wikipedia. To prove our motion, I would like to present you our definitions. Wikipedia is a free content online encyclopedia. It is a source of information. Library, it is a place said to contain periodicals and another information for reading. Our criterion is one click and you know everything. Saying this, we mean that Wikipedia is the largest and the biggest resource of information in the world, being proved every day by new knowledge. And we can find information without difficulties, and it is going to be proved with the help of our arguments. I want to present you our case. Our first argument is that Wikipedia is more comfortable. The second argument sounds like Wikipedia has more advantages. Our third argument is evolution of knowledge. I will explain our two arguments. The third argument represented by our second speaker. Wikipedia is more comfortable. Nowadays, internet became the inseparable part of our modern life. A million people check Wikipedia every day. You can sit at home and find whatever you want without going on the street. And if you want to find short and interesting information, Wikipedia at your service. Just write what you want in the search line, and here it is information in brief. So Wikipedia is more comfortable because with the help of one click, you can get any information in brief and save your time. Wikipedia has more advantages. Every day we are looking for new information. We need to prepare for school. We want to watch a good film, so we turn to Wikipedia to see a review and so on. So after we find the article that we needed while reading it, we notice many links of now unknown words. So we can first understand what we want. Just imagine this process with book. While you are reading book, you can find many obscure words. So go for another book to understand the meaning. And on this book can be unknown words, so or you go for another and so on. Imagine this situation. You move to another country and you need to prepare a project for something else. You don't know native language, so you are thinking, where can I get information? In the library there are many books on native language, so you can't read them.
Yes.
Yes.
But this gives you the chance to learn that language.
But if you don't know basis of this language, you can't understand what is the language. Then you are thinking about Wikipedia. Just open the article that you need, and with the help of one click, you can translate the page on any language. So Wikipedia is very comfortable because you can see information short and find the meanings of obscure words and translate the page on the language that you need. So Wikipedia saves you time. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, our dear audience, dear opponents, my team. My name is Isabel and I'm the first speaker of the opposition team. Our second speaker is Mary and our third speaker is Joanna. We are gathered here to discuss the motion which sounds like Wikipedia is a better resource than many libraries, and our team disagrees with this statement. So we agree with the definitions of our opponents, but we would like to add a little bit more to them. So Wikipedia, a free open content encyclopedia, but anyone registered on the site can create an article for publication. Registration is not required to write an article. And libraries, nowadays there are very modern libraries where social events happen, so you learn about new things. So our criterion for today's motion is Wikipedia points you in the wrong direction. This means that as our definition says, that anyone can write something on the site, and that something could be some wrong information, whether that is the person that believed that this information was correct, or just somebody trying to play around on the site and just write whatever they want. So, which leads the other people who read these articles in the wrong direction. So our arguments for today's motion are: Wikipedia depends on circumstances, libraries are a source of feelings, and Wikipedia gives us false information. And our fourth argument is Wikipedia is one more reason for antisociality. So our first argument is Wikipedia depends on circumstances. As we know, Wikipedia is on the internet, and we use internet on our gadgets, and they depend on electricity. And what if the power cuts and our battery dies? We won't be able to find that information. What if our internet starts lagging? We still won't be able to find that information. So there are books. Books don't depend on anything. You could just walk up to a book, read the information you need, and there you go. Our second argument is libraries are a source of feelings. So books have been with us for many, many years now, and by going to Wikipedia, you click, you copy and paste onto Word, then you read it to the class or you hand it into the teacher and you forget about it. Whereas when you read a book,
please.
Yes.
If we read information, we know about it, and how we can forget it.
Well, nowadays people just print out the information, walk up to the class, thank you for your attention, goodbye. They forget about whatever they read. When you read a book, you get the introduction of the book, you get the middle part of the book, you get the ending of the book, and you could find the information that you need and that will help you. So libraries are not only sources of information, they are sources of feelings. So, and what if we had a place where we could be surrounded by all the information from all times? And we have that place. That place is called the library. Now I would like to do my refutations to our opponents. So their first argument is Wikipedia is more comfortable, and they said that it has short and quick information that you could use. But for some people that might not be comfortable, and some of that information might be not the information that that person needs. So in a book, you could find the information you need. And next, they said that if you move to another country and you need to find information, Wikipedia has many languages that you could use. Then our team asked a point of information, and we said that that the books will help us learn that language, to which our opponents replied that we need the basic knowledge, but why would you move into a country without knowing just the basis of that language? So again, our criteria is Wikipedia points you in the wrong direction. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear judge, dear timekeeper. I'm the second speaker of proposition team Victorious, and I continue to proceed you on our site, and we truly believe that Wikipedia is a better resource than other libraries. And just a word about structure of my speech. Firstly, I'm going to refute arguments of our opponents, and then I present you our third argument. So our opponent said about libraries like resource of feelings, but in our definitions we said that libraries like a resource of information. And their first argument was about depends on. So they were saying about depending Wikipedia and libraries. Okay. Now we want to continue our line of argumentation and present you our third argument. It sounds like evolution of knowledge. Our world changes every day. Every day we make new discovery, make new decisions, stop diseases, we create new inventions, and so on. We don't stop. And when person gets new knowledge, he can easily edit or create new article in Wikipedia. And million of others users can check it and get new knowledge. Or maybe you know that.
For instance,
Yes.
but the author of the article bring this information from the books.
Okay, I said that when you get new knowledge, like you make new invention or make you discover, you don't get it from the books, you get it from your life experience. Like Christopher Columbus went to America and discovered it. He didn't get it from the book.
Thank you.
Yes.
But he didn't go to Wikipedia to write an article.
Okay, but nowadays we get this knowledge and we want to share this knowledge with others, so we create a Wikipedia article about it. So thanks for, and we can know that, for example, fact in Wikipedia isn't truthful anymore, so we can easily edit it, and same millions of users won't read false statements. And thanks for their own statistic, we know that every day people upload more than 200 items and redact over 5,000 of it. Consequently, Wikipedia evolves every day, and it is a strong fact. And can you even imagine this process with books? It's not just one click and one upgrade. It's a long work. And I'd like to renew our second argument. It sounds like Wikipedia has more advantages. We have seen films that some film truth in numbers, and there was interesting dialogue when creator of Wikipedia go to Indonesia in forgotten by God place, and he met a person who know about Wikipedia and asked him to read about Indonesians tithing. And man said that that it wasn't truthful, and creator suggested him to edit this article. So thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to see you all here. So my name is Mary, and I'm the second speaker of opposition team version. So I'd like to start with the repeating of our motions. So we are playing today the great and important motion nowadays. This house believes that Wikipedia is a better resource than many libraries, and we absolutely disagree with this motion. So I'd like to start my speech with the refutation of our opponents. So first of all, our opponents were talking about that if one person make a research, he started to make an article in Wikipedia, but it doesn't work like this. When we make a new research, we go to the center and say, I just do this research, can you register my research? We are not going to go to the internet and Wikipedia and write the article about it. It's not logical, and it doesn't work like this. So about libraries, our opponents didn't understood us properly. We're talking that library is not only about definitions. Library is not only a resource of our information, and library is a resource of our feelings also. We don't разграничивать. I'm sorry.
We do not
divide these statements. So the third argument of our points was evolution of knowledge, but we disagree with them because Wikipedia gives us short information, and we want to get to the library to get all information in brief and one goes. Oh, yes, of course.
Sorry, but in fact, where do you see that Wikipedia gives us short information? In Wikipedia we have also articles which are long, and there aren't any differences with articles in Wikipedia or in the library.
So you think that this is the book with the 300 pages, and the state in the Wikipedia was 300 words, and it doesn't matter how much the words. So
maybe you have example when Wikipedia.
I don't say yes, and you can't do like this. So I'd like to continue. So library gives us opportunity to find this information in books, and ourselves highlight the main clash points, and that means that you will understand this information better and bring these points into your mind and into your memories. So I'd like to start with our line of argumentation. So firstly, our criterion as Wikipedia points you to the wrong direction. So our third argument is Wikipedia gives us false information. So all we know that Wikipedia's function is edited statute by everyone, and this change statute can hang on the site for a long months and even for a year until the statute will be checked, if it will be. So for all this time, a lot of people can use this wrong information and for important projects, or even when you do your homework, so you get 2 because of false beliefs of another human. So, one please. No thanks.
No.
And it's not Wikipedia control there. So library gives us only proved information and only proved account. So our fourth argument is Wikipedia is one more reason for antisociality. So today antisociality is a really important problem, and library struggled with this problem because it held any activity every day, and we can communicate in this 14 seconds please. We can communicate during such activities, and it helps to improve our sociability, and Wikipedia gives us only right facts, maybe wrong facts, and we don't want such for our future and for our kids. So in the conclusion, I'd like to remind you our criteria is Wikipedia points you to the wrong direction, and we truly believe that it is so. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. We continue our debates, and I'm, as third speaker of proposition team, will prove you that Wikipedia is not a better resource than many libraries. Now I want to continue my speech with refutation of arguments of our dear opponents. So, at first, they say that Wikipedia is dependent from circumstances. Sorry. Okay, Wikipedia is dependent, but we don't talk about Wikipedia or libraries have no exist more. We're talking about what resource is better, and in fact, when you didn't have maybe electricity, you can go to library, yes, but it not means that Wikipedia is the library is better than Wikipedia. So then. This says that Wikipedia is a resource of feeling, but in fact we're talking about a source of information. We're talking about a source of truth articles, but not about feelings. Feelings is just abstract, and we can live without it. Wikipedia gives us wrong information. Yes, Wikipedia gives us wrong information. Yes, Wikipedia gives us wrong information sometimes, but in fact, 3 million people check this information every day, and yes, person who.
Okay. But 60% of all Wikipedia statements had a fact mistake, and every day a lot of people use this wrong information.
Okay, but in fact, like we said, every day our word is evolve, and Wikipedia evolve also, and this information must be corrected. Yes. So also they say that Wikipedia is one more reason to antisociality, but in fact, sociality. Why? If if we go in the library, it don't mean that we will maybe talking with someone. We will just talking with a library manager, but not with another people, and it not protect us from antisociality. Okay, now I want to remind our criterion. Okay,
is a human a source of biological factor which needs to communicate with people?
Okay, I didn't talk about that people don't need communication, but I talk that libraries also don't protect us from antisociality. Okay, our criterion sounds like on clicking you know everything. Our first argument sounds like Wikipedia is more comfortable. Our second argument sounds like Wikipedia has more advantages, and our third argument sounds like evolution of knowledge. Okay. At first, I'd like to continue my speech with supporting of our first argument, which sounds like Wikipedia is more comfortable. With the help of small research in which we analyzed every page of Wikipedia. So at first, we can see links of 5 basic points of the article. By these links, we can find parts of the text which are interesting for us just in one click. It's unlike book in which you need to find information yourself by scrolling page. And we have another comfortable advantages in Wikipedia in which we can't see in books. So okay, it's all. Thanks for your attention.
Okay. Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joanna, and today I'm the third speaker on the opposition team. And today we are here to debate on the amazing motion that this House believes that Wikipedia is a better resource than libraries, and our team absolutely disagrees with this position. So, with the help of our case, our amazing speakers, we are going to prove it today. With the structure of my speech, I'm going to be starting off with our refutation. The refutation of our dear opponents was definitely about our case and about our line of argumentation. And so the first point that they were talking about were our circumstances. They were talking about, yes, that they agreed with some points of us, but you see, libraries are better because we have other factors other than electricity. Since we were talking about in our circumstances that Wikipedia is dependent on electricity, it is not only dependent on that. As our speakers have already said, it's dependent on the speed of the internet, it's dependent on internet itself. There are other factors that actually prove that libraries are better because they don't need those factors to interfere with our knowledge. As well as with the factors, there's this amazing quote that really just brings a smile to my heart when it comes to circumstances, and it says this: don't fit the dress, make the dress fit you. So going under Wikipedia and getting comfortable by its rules is not what we are here for today. We are here for today for a library, a comfortable place, and that is why we believe that libraries are a better source of information and are comfortable themselves. We were also talking about the facts of resources and information and the fact that our feelings do not influence this. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we are human beings and we are controlled by our feelings. And so that is why we need to get into a certain atmosphere, we have to be in a certain mood to be ready to have and understand certain information. So that's why our team is more of a psychological factor. Bring it out. I'll finish my sentence and I'll answer your question. And that is why we truly believe that libraries are a better source of information because they give us an atmosphere that will let us absorb it all. Yes?
How libraries support our good feeling, our good mind.
We were talking about it in our case. If I'm not mistaken, it was definitely our second argument, which was library, a source of feeling, where we were talking about how our amazing hands touch our amazing printed pages that give us a certain mood and prepare us to understand certain information. We were definitely also talking about anti-society, and to be honest, I would like to say that by definition, we did agree to the definition of our dear opponents, but we should also understand that our definition gave out that libraries create social events. So definitely it does prove that it is not for anti-society, but we can actually talk to other people. Now, with our line of argumentation, I would like to start off with. Give me a second. So, as we have already said, our first argument was Wikipedia depends on circumstances. And we are no need for Wi-Fi, as I've said, no need for electricity, weather, speed of internet, or the model of the gadget. That's why we believe that libraries are more comfortable and are a better resource of information in many factors. Our second argument was libraries are a source of feeling, and it is definitely so, because books themselves are beautiful. The books and the printed pages help us to relax, and it definitely creates us and improves our feeling and touch. Our third argument was Wikipedia gives you false information, and just a small statistics, 6 in 10 articles are proven to have a mistake, and I think that's quite a lot. Our fourth argument was Wikipedia is one more reason for anti-society, and because that's in libraries, we communicate with different people, we meet people with the same interests and come with different events, and that is why we believe that our criteria is true, that Wikipedia brings us in the wrong direction. Thank you.
Our dear audience, I would like to thank our opponents for this very interesting game, and now I would like to speak about the main clash points of our game. So one of the clash points was that if you go to another country and you need to find information, you could go to Wikipedia. We said that you could go to a library, and by reading the books you learn the language quicker. They said that what if you don't know the basic knowledge, and we answered that why would you go to a certain country without knowing the basic knowledge? And we believe we were strong in this position. Next, our opponents agreed with our criteria, which was that, well, not criteria, I'm sorry, the information we gave, so that we said that Wikipedia gives us false information. They said that yes, Wikipedia gives us false information, but, so they agreed with what we said. Next, the other clash point we had that we were talking about the circumstances about Wikipedia, that there might not be electricity or the internet was lagging, and they said that it doesn't mean that that Wikipedia is worse, but it actually does, because what if you need to find information like very urgently? You won't be able to, because you don't have the Wikipedia, because it depends on that information. And as our third speaker said, this beautiful phrase, don't fit the dress, make the dress fit you. Now I'd like to remind you of our line of argumentation, which is Wikipedia depends on circumstances, libraries are a source of feelings, Wikipedia gives false information, and Wikipedia is one more reason for antisociality. Our criteria is Wikipedia points in the wrong direction, and we truly believe that our team proved this statement. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen, our dear opponents, my teammates, and at first I'd like to say thank you for such an amazing game, and I'd like to make a reply speech. I'd like to remember you our criterion. Sounds like one click and you know everything, and I think that we proved it. And our first argument was Wikipedia is more comfortable. Our second argument was Wikipedia has more advantages. And our first speaker and I said that in Wikipedia we can not only read but write. And our third argument was evolution of knowledge. So, flash points. Our opponent said about libraries like a resource of feelings, and they said that we don't divide feelings and information, but I think it's
It's a matter of personal thing.
It's a personal way of every person. So one can read information in Wikipedia and understand it and get aesthetic feelings, while other can read it in books and get other feelings. And one more reason for antisocially. Sorry, but we have one more, and we have more reason for antisocially, and I think Wikipedia is just okay. Our opponent said about false information, but how we said in, that people redact every day many articles and upload more, so there are many books with false information, and they can't be upgraded. And in the end, I like to say thank you and thank you for attention.
На этом, собственно говоря, сами дебаты закончились. Вы видели, были две команды по 3 человека и выступления по 4 речи со стороны каждой команды. Я понимаю, что все уже очень устали, я попробую очень кратенько все это подытожить. Да, давайте вот сначала по самим командам. Есть ли какие-то вопросы, потому что сейчас увидели, вот какие-то там никого не смутило, или это, допустим, еще что-то, есть какие-то нюансы? Знаете, откуда это все? Это все дань еще откуда, вот в теме, может быть, тоже обратили внимание, тема называлась как, это не топик, это не theme в дебатах, в дебатной лексике, это motion, вот слышали в речах, наверное, ребят, да? Это уже конкретно дебатная лексика, motion. И дань отдается еще английскому парламенту, где было 2 палаты, да, и поэтому тема начинается со слов «эта палата считает что». Почему тема и звучит как «this house believes that». Да, или это могут быть какие-то там, допустим, что-то нововведение, или наоборот запрет чего-то. For example, this house would ban, I don't know, cars from the city centers. Да, то есть какое-то изменение. Вот это дань английскому парламенту. И еще один момент, который был, это вот этот стук по столу. Дело в том, что считается, что дебатеры в течение игры постоянно пишут, то есть как минимум одна рука, у кого правая, у кого левая, занята. И положить ручку и сделать вот так, ну нет такой роскоши, да, поэтому дебатеры, если не хотят поддержать где-то свою команду, или иногда это делает даже судья, да, когда действительно была сказана очень точно, очень правильная фраза, таким образом может выразить свое одобрение. И оттуда же как раз-таки вот это было point of information, это тоже с палаты, непосредственно с 2 палат еще английского парламента. Если к ребятам вопросов нет, я бы хотела просто сейчас их отпустить, потому что у них тоже был сложный день, сложная игра, спасибо вам огромное.
А как же это победа? Вот написано, что проигравших не бывает.
Проигравших, да, проигравших не бывает, и ничьей не бывает, там написано, ничьей не бывает. Ну, давайте так. Proposition.
Да. Может, я просто уже уставшая. И вот, мне кажется, главную мысль вот не высказали, почему люди используют сейчас Википедию. Потому что времени нет. Быстрее сесть в Википедию, вот что-то вот этого не было.
Ну, Notion немножко по-другому звучало.
Ну да, как-то
здесь очень важно, что очень важно в дебатах, и что суд, на что обращает судья, чтобы вот то утверждение было либо полностью поддержано, а утверждение было. Что это лучше. То есть не почему, а что это лучше. И они вот, здесь они держали, линию они держали.
Вы очень правильно заметили этот момент. Да, на это тоже надо наталкивать в процессе подготовки. Все правильно. Почему? Потому что всегда тема дается в школьных дебатах, тема изучается заранее. Вот мы с вами, если будем работать это брать как внеурочку, вы объявляете тему, да, и у вас минимум неделя. у ваших учащихся уходит на поисковую деятельность, когда подбираются идеи на за, идеи напротив и так далее. То есть да, уже дальше мы идем по этапам, начинаем рассортировать, делать из этого какие-то серьезные, сильные аргументы и так далее. И как раз таки вот та мысль, которая есть, ее правильно, ее возможно было раскрутить вот
да,
со стороны этой команды.
типа.
Чуть-чуть не хватило. Давайте так. Команда правительства, это команда на русском языке, их называют правительство, оппозиция. Кто считает, что победила команда правительства? Кто считает, что победила команда оппозиции?
Но они взрослее уже просто.
Есть, да, есть такое. Минимум на год, если не сказать, что больше, да. Вот, были мысли, на самом деле, ребят, очень хорошо держались, я вам скажу больше. Вот эта команда начала играть, не все, некоторые вообще 4 недели назад. Вот эта команда, в частности, Аня и Олег, начали играть только в этом году. Они сейчас закончили 7 класс. То есть я понимаю, что, причем это для них, вот этот год, это был первый дебатный опыт. И, в принципе, тот уровень, вот у нас было 3 турнира, таких достаточно серьезных за год, был в сентябре на территории 9-й гимназии, в декабре у нас был турнир, нас принимала Симферопольская международная школа, и вот в мае, как я уже оговорилась чуть ранее, был турнир в Танковом. То есть, собственно говоря, вот 3 турнира, это был тот опыт, через который прошли эти ребята. И на самом деле тот прогресс, который они показали в течение года, он очень-очень виден. Он очень явный, он действительно очень хороший. То, что касается Маши, это вообще человек, который пришел в дебаты, ну, наверное, с месяц назад, да, Маша, или месяца еще нет. Ну, вот так получилось. То есть, знаете, дебатный клуб, он открыт все время для тех, кто хочет еще этим заниматься. Что касается девочек, тут уже, конечно, гораздо такой больший опыт за плечами, тут уже, наверное, турниров 8-10. И тем не менее, опять-таки, я хочу, чтобы вы понимали, это была не идеальная игра. Это была показательная игра. Это был просто пример, как могут выглядеть живые дебаты. Тут есть еще над чем работать. Конечно, здесь где-то большей частью победило и большее количество навыков, да, и больше, допустим, более лучшее, да, скажем так, умение владеть языком, да, и больше все-таки опыт дебатный. Тут это никак не отделишь. Но тем не менее, игра, в принципе, держалась на достаточно хорошем. То есть бывает такой, знаете, очень яркий перевес. Одни очень-очень сильные, а вторые, ну, просто вот совсем слабенькие, только-только начинающие. Здесь игра была в целом на равных, я в любом случае признательна каждой из команд. Спасибо вам большое, ребята. Спасибо.
Но вы еще немножко задержитесь, потому что, наверное, вам интересно, как до этого дойти. Да. Спасибо.
Нет, это есть, да, проект.
Вы все время?
Поехали.